to a Fox News alert, former President Trump saying this morning that he will be arrested on Tuesday.
Trump sharing that news on Truth Social this morning. His potential arrest comes over accusations about a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. Prosecutors have called that hush money. Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett joined us earlier with what we can expect next.
And I think the first thing his lawyers will do is to challenge the merits, the veracity of the charge against him and the law, just as I've described, that you cannot take a state crime and supercharge it into a felony.
We will undoubtedly get more information on this as it continues to unfold. We're going to bring in now Dan Bongino, host of Unfiltered with Dan Bongino and author of The Gift of Failure. Dan, I would imagine you've got something to say on this.
Yeah, listen, the police state's here, guys. So that's inarguable to, the libs listening. You can, again, plant a big wet one on my rump because I really have no desire to hear you right now as you're celebrating, again, the collapse of the constitutional republic. The police state's here. It's not as if Donald Trump's, sons were caught on tape talking to their dad about illicit business deals or anything with foreign communist parties and nuclear-powered enemies of the United States, shuttling millions of dollars to the Trump family. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's the Biden family. Oh, God, sorry, guys, I forgot. As a commentator, I should be really up on the news and stuff. But the police state and this abomination is here right now. This is third world BS. That's exactly what this is. This is the kind of story you're used to reading out of North Korea, but it's here in the United States right now. And the fact that media people and the liberals will celebrate this shows you what I've said all along. An axiomatic truth of the left. Listen, everyone at home, turn up the volume right now. So you understand, I'm not talking about all Democrats. I want to be clear on this. I don't stereotype like they do to us. The progressive socialist left, the identity politics left, make no mistake, they don't think you're people with bad ideas, you MAGA crowd and conservative people out there. They think you're bad people with ideas. That justifies in their mind anything they will do. Listen to me clearly. These people will hurt you if given the opportunity. I use my words very deliberately. I've seen them, I've stared them in the face when I walked out of the White House when President Trump was renominated, and I had an Antifa BLM person look me in the face and tell me he was going to rape my wife. These people will hurt you. Make no mistake. Another thing about this too, guys. Again, if you're a lefty home and you're wetting your diaper over what I'm saying, oh my gosh, this isn't true. Think about it. What's the hallmark of a police state versus a legitimate constitutional republic? Well, in a constitutional republic, you have rights. And those rights can only be taken away if there is evidence of a crime, probable cause you've committed a crime. So what happens? Someone walks into an FBI office or a police station and says, hey, I was mugged. And the police investigate that crime, right, in search of the mugger who did it. That's not the country we live in anymore. We now live in a country where you can walk into the FBI or Alvin Bragg's office and say, hey, I'm a Democrat, I don't like Donald Trump. And you investigate the person, and then you find the crime later. Was it Berry who said that? The Soviet Union? Kind of sounds like what's happening here. If you really believe that a campaign and by the way, that's even a stretch, campaign payoff from a woman he's alleged to have had some kind of relationship with is worth arresting a former president, you are freaking crazy and should seek mental health attention.
She lost and lost. He has to pay Donald Trump money, so I don't know how.
Donald Trump has simply been accused before he was president of doing what Bill Clinton admitted to in the bathroom of the Oval Office. Is Bill Clinton under arrest? Nope. Now, wait, I'm not done. To the people in New York City and any other maniac, lunatic, blue state out there, California, Illinois, Maryland, listen to me, please. I grew up in New York and ran for office in Maryland and other states well. Get out as soon as you can. I am not kidding. You have zero rights in these places. They're talking about escape taxes for you and everything else. If this can happen to a former president, you have absolutely zero rights. No serious person thinks this is a crime worth expending taxpayer dollars on. Not a single person on planet Earth believes that who's serious. Get out of these states as soon as you can. You have no chance in front of one of their juries. You have no chance in front of one of their judges. You have no chance with their prosecutors. Get out. You are effectively living in a place where when they want you, they will come and get you.
To your point about get out, Dan, it's all going to come down to a jury. You know, we should talk about a biased, corrupt system that includes prosecutors or judges, but ultimately Trump in this case will have to sit in front of New Yorkers, right? And I believe this is very similar to what John Edwards was indicted for, which was using campaign funds or other funds to hush an alleged ex-lover. John Edwards was acquitted in Virginia by what was seen as a friendly jury there, but in New York, as Greg Jarrett told us earlier, Trump's hope has to land on appeal, because he's fighting everything, including the jury in New York City.
This is insane. I mean, think of it. Will, you're a real lawyer. I mean, do you believe we're actually having this conversation? Where we're saying, well, listen, whatever behavior the guy's accused of or not, that's his personal business. I'm not suggesting you have to agree with it or not. But that we're saying that he's probably going to be convicted for at worst some if it's even true, by the way, for some personal indiscretion he chose to solve his own way or his team, and then we're like, oh, he's already going to be convicted of a fake crime. This is a conversation you and I are having on the world's largest cable news show. It's probably already over. He'll probably be convicted by a bunch of lunatics on a jury, and that the best hope he has is an appeals process where all he can hope is the appeals judge, too, isn't a lunatic like the people in the lunatic jury pool who are probably going to convict him. This is like your entire life is subjected, Will, to a jury lottery. Now, I grew up in New York. There are a lot of Trump supporters in New York. A lot. But how crazy is it that this guy's freedom revolves around a lottery where you're hoping and praying to the Lord Almighty that you pick a person who's not crazy who can sit on the jury? Notice this has nothing to do with the facts of the case. That's not even a subject here. The question is, do you get a Trump voter on the jury or not? If that doesn't sound like a police state to you, I mean, please wake up. Again, seek the attention of a mental health professional. You are a crazy person. You got a guy in the White House right now whose son is on tape doing what you're accusing Donald Trump of doing. He's on tape. He's not fighting with those women in the UFC, Hunter Biden. That's not the north-south position, what you're looking at there. He's making sex tapes. He doesn't even dispute it. He's filing a lawsuit claiming that's not my property, but it could be my property if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, smells like a duck, and has sex like a duck. Maybe it's a freaking duck. This guy's on tape, the president's son, while the president's on an audio voicemail talking to him saying, hey, Hunter, looks like the Times story, it looks like you're okay. And where's he? He's in the White House selling us out to Ukraine, China, Russia, any other country out there while burying this place as soon as he can. This is unbelievable. I'm telling you, we live in a police state. That's inarguable. The only thing we're arguing now is the degree, not if it's true or not.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Dan. And I think it has huge implications. I'm glad you brought up how this feels for everyone who's a conservative, because Donald Trump has always said, I'm a stand-in for you. They're coming after me. They're coming after you. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way lately. Really quick, what do you think politically this means for Donald Trump? Forget the legal stuff. You saw after Mar-a-Lago, people rallied behind him. They saw how unfair it was. Do you think that happens here?
I tweeted this out last night before this news. I had no idea this was coming out, and, President doesn't call me and vet his information or anything. I tweeted this out last night. I did one of my Dear Libs tweets, and I said, if you really believe that an indictment and arrest of Donald Trump on a clearly fabricated nonsense charge, not a serious person in the cosmos, takes seriously, right? If you think this is going to stop the Donald Trump crowd, you are so politically inept, you should be arrested for political malpractice. You may have just martyred this guy and given him a 10-point bump in his polls. Can I say one more thing, though, that's important, Rachel? Donald Trump said to protest, and yes, do it, by all means. You have the right to do that, but please, to everyone out there I am politically aligned with, please do it peacefully. This is not some silly, stupid virtue signal. This government is looking for any excuse to take you and your ass and park it in a jail cell forever. Please, God, I'm not using his name in vain. Don't give them any ammunition. Show up, protest. You must protest. But please, do it peacefully. They are looking for any excuse to put you in a jail cell for as long as... Do you really need another example of this? Protest. But be smart about it.
Well, Dan, this news broke this morning with President Trump saying he will be arrested on Tuesday. You brought a lot of energy to talk about it. It's going to be a long day, but the day's going to end with Dan Bongino bringing a lot of energy with Unfiltered with Dan Bongino tonight at 9 p.m. What you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, did Biden nationalize the banks this week right under our noses and no one picked that up? I've got a whole story on that. And then I got a monologue that... the biggest liberal BS narrative of all, I kind of call it out, which, as you'll see, obviously after this news, is that they're in it for the little guy. I think when you're done listening to my monologue tonight about that, you can finally put that thing to bed, that the Democrats are the party. They've been screwing over the little guy since time immemorial. So don't miss the show tonight at 9. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, Dan.
We'll be there.